way into the arena, Emmanuel Dominguez.
Emmanuel Dominguez, a veteran of the fight game, from Aguascalientes, Mexico. Veneno, Poison is the nickname, with a record of 27, 11-2, 18 stoppages. A career that started back in 2011 for the 31-year-old.
You know, he's had 2 3-year layoffs in his career. Turned pro way back in 2011.
His counterpart, Otar Eranosyan.
There you go, Otar Eranosyan. Pitbull is the nickname, from the Republic of Georgia, now living in Miami. Second time on a DMG show. He had a heck of a battle with the kid, Roger Gutierrez from Venezuela, former champion. His career started in 2020.
Had a very storied amateur career. His trainer, Timur Ibragimov, was an internationally acclaimed amateur and former '96 Olympian, and was a very respected pro that was in the WBA rankings for a number of years.
We continue with the action inside of Thunder Studios, Long Beach, California. It is Night of Champions 5. Being presented by DMG Boxing, along with Top Rank Incorporated, and being sponsored by Fightbook. If you'd like to be considered for upcoming DMG Boxing events, register at fightbook.com. Happy Jewelers. Happy looks good on you. Drive it. Casa Mexico Tequila. Auténtico Corajillo, Torque Law, representing the people. As a reminder, make sure you head on over to the giant WBC belt, scan the QR code for your chance to pick up a pair of Laker tickets, as well as Adams Boxing, official brand of boxing. This contest set for 10 rounds. On the line, the vacant NEBF super featherweight title. Supervising this evening is Nancy Rodriguez. Our judge is at ringside. We have Fernando Villarreal, along with Sergio Cais and Jack Reese. Presenting first, the fighter standing in the blue corner. He enters the ring wearing blue with black trim. Officially, he weighed in at 132 pounds. In 40 bouts as a professional, he maintains a record of 27 victories against 11 losses, 2 draws, 18 of his victories coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Aguascalientes, Mexico, Emmanuel Dominguez. His counterpart across the ring in the red corner, wearing white with black and gold, he weighed in at a ripped and ready 128.5 pounds tonight. He enters the ring an undefeated professional with a record of 15-0, 7 of those victories coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Miami, Florida, and representing his homeland of Akakalkalaki, Republic of Georgia. Please welcome the Pit Bull, Otar Eranosyan. Our referee is Thomas Taylor.
Let's go, guys. Coach, hang on, back up. Coach, on this side. All right, gentlemen, we got You just stop bouncing for a second. Everything from the middle of the letters up is going to be good. Everything from the bottom of the letters up is going to be good. You got my instructions in the back, gentlemen. Protect yourselves at all times. Listen to my commands. Touch them up. Back to your corner, guys.
Tom Taylor with the instructions. Fernando Villarreal, Sergio Caiz, and Jack Reese will be the judges for Emmanuel Dominguez. He has Oscar Garcia, Jorge Daniel, and George Martinez in his corner. Otar come in with Timor, like you mentioned, also has Richard Wilson in his corner. This was scheduled for 10 rounds. Here we go on DMG Night of Champions 5. Beto Duran, Mike Rodriguez, and Lindsay Payares with you here from the Thunder Studios in Long Beach, California. Otar 15-0, coming off of a good win on a Pro Box show where, actually no, before that was a Pro Box show. That was against Roger the Kid Gutierrez back in 2023. And then he didn't fight in 24. And then this year, a fight that was a disqualification, but he was winning easy on the card was Otar. So what kind of fighter is he, Mike?
You know, he had a really good amateur program. As a lot of these Eastern European, these guys from the former Soviet Union countries. He's well schooled, starting to get a little bit up there in age a little bit where you kind of got to make your move. I think they'd like to keep him busy. That's why they have him out here. He can definitely, he's on the fringes of being a world-class guy. And I think after, if he can get by this fight, you got to look to start putting him in, you know, with some guys that are going to elevate him to get him where they want to go.
Yeah, I mentioned the big amateur program for Georgia. What do you tell us? Like almost 200 amateur fights?
Yes, yeah, that was 250 amateur fights.
250, wow.
Probably fought in every major international tournament over there in Eastern Europe. His trainer, like I said, was a 96 Olympian. Was at one time the best amateur light heavyweight in the world in the early to mid 90s. Timor was very accomplished, moved up to heavyweight as a professional. Lost to Calvin Brock. And I really like if you can see the style and the pedigree of Pitbull, the way he moves his hands and he keeps his head off line. And you got a guy that's a little more lopier in Dominguez, where his movements are a little bit wider. And I think that if Pitbull, if Otar stays short, he's going to have a lot of success.
After this fight will be Perla Bazadula, the 20-year-old, trained by Manny Robles. Good up there, shots landed by Otar.
And you can tell right away he's well schooled. He really knows his way around the ring. He may only have 15 pro fights, but you know, a lot of those fights that he had, the 250 fights, those things count for something.
Oh, absolutely, because they were elite fights.
Yes.
It wasn't like just whatever tournament. He's fighting at the Worlds. He's fighting the European Championships. He's fighting against, you know, people don't understand this, but in the Eastern European countries, you don't turn pro right away because you get paid by your country to represent them.
Absolutely. And he lands a good body shot. And I'm not going to knock our amateur program, but there's a lot of fighters and kids running around claiming to have a lot of national titles.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different over there. A national title over there to represent your country.
It's a real one.
It's a lot different prestige.
Yeah, well, you see some of those guys that show up to Freddie Roach's gym wildcard. They're like, oh, I'm a amateur. And then you find out they have 200 amateur fights representing the Eastern Bloc countries. You're like, holy smokes, who are these guys?
Well, guys that we mentioned earlier, like a Victor Postal, former world champion. Elvis Rodriguez fought at a high level. I mean, they were just naming two guys. Freddie has an incredible stable, has had it for years. And those are the kind of guys that gravitate toward his gym. As we take a look here, a nice little right uppercut, little good inside work. And even Dominguez, he's very willing. He's got longer arms. But I think if Otar stays short and keeps working like that and then keeps his head offline, watch how he doesn't square up too much. After he punches, he covers up nicely. And then when you have like in a baseball reference, when you're short to the ball, you're going to have a lot more success.
Behind Otar's corner are his kids, his family, and he looked right at them, gave him a smile, get a wink.
I saw that.
Yeah, he's not sitting down, standing up between rounds, is Otar.
Yes, and a lot of those guys from these countries, Dagestan, Uzbekistan. I know you've seen a lot of the Uzbek guys. Uzbek the Bully. You've called some of his fights. I work with him. Yeah, some of those guys are a little hard to work for in the corner because they don't want to sit down.
Yeah.
I always prefer that my guy sit down, gets his heart rate down.
Yeah, Otar, I was watching a couple of fights of his. His style is very fan-friendly. but he's still a little herky-jerky at times.
But there's a purpose to it. His herky-jerky is part of his defense that helps create his offense. I see a guy that's herky-jerky that with their hands don't follow their head. His hands follow his head, and he's always got his feet underneath him. If you notice, he's always looking to set himself up. And a shorter guy, he doesn't have long arms, and I train an amateur like this, you can still have a very effective jab by the way you use your movement and the way you bend.
Also, Mike, he doesn't stop moving. It's hard to find him.
Well, I mean, it's hard to hit a moving target.
Yeah.
And that'll wear a guy out mentally and physically. The way he comes in with his hands up. From a coach's perspective, I really like what I'm seeing. He's not a super big puncher, as indicated by his 7 knockouts, but he's very technical. He's very technical.
Yeah, yesterday at the weigh-ins, his entire team had the track outfits. They were all locked up. They were looking good.
Yeah, they were looking great. I'm still trying. I mean, when I look at a fighter, sometimes it'll automatically another fighter will come to mind. I'm still trying to figure out who Otar reminds me of.
His style is a little different. Good overhead right from Otar.
But you notice the closer he gets, the more his hands come up, the more knee bend he gets. And his punches are all very short. He doesn't throw a lot of looping punches. And that's why he's able to get off quick. Where a guy like Dominguez needs a little bit more room.
So is this a fight that will probably go distance? You're going to have to break him down?
Yes, and I think Otar's not a big puncher, and I know Dominguez, even though he's been stopped, he takes a pretty good shot.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned only 7 stoppages for Otar.
But a knockout ratio can be deceiving. It depends. I work with one of Freddie's fighter, Umar Dakmanov, and his first couple fights, because he had a high amateur pedigree and Olympian, he wasn't sitting down on his punches.
Okay.
And now he's a knockout artist. His last 4 to 5 fights.
He's been knocking people out.
Yes, he fights for Tom Loffer's 360 Promotions, and he's been knocking guys out. And it's just a matter of adapting to that pro style. And when you get into a pro gym with pro level trainers, they're going to teach you those things. The Freddie Roaches, the Robert Garcias, the Manny Robleses type guys.
That's a good body shot landed by Dominguez on the left side of Otar. Dominguez with good defense here.
Yeah, I like the way he's moving off the ropes. He's not doing what I said earlier as far as getting too high. He's getting that good knee bend. I like a good knee bend.
DMG, Night of Champions 5, highlights from the second round.
So here we go. Good looping right hand. That's about as looping as you're going to see Otar get. And Dominguez really knows how to throw punches. It just sometimes he loops them a little bit. And that was a really good body shot. And there you got Coach Timor right there, letting his fighter know that we need that right hand. We need a little bit of movement. A very accomplished fighter in his own right back in the day.
Nice and calm in the corner of the Mexican, Emmanuel Dominguez.
And that'll happen when you have, 40 pro fights.
Been a pro for 14 years.
He had 2 3-year layoffs and came back. Like a lot of these guys you see from Mexico that have these records like Dominguez, they were prospects at one time. Mm-hmm. They were the 7-8-0 guy, and for whatever reason, things didn't work out. But here they are, all these years later, still applying their craft. So it's not like they can't beat somebody because they have.
Yeah, they step up in competition.
There
There's levels to it.
And a nice little short combination right there, a little 2-3 punt combination by Otar.
Like Dominguez comes in, with the ugly record, but he's got all the sponsors. He's got the avocado sponsor.
Yeah,
that's expensive right now, Mike.
Well, in 27-11 is not that ugly. He's not upside down. He's fought some good fighters.
Yeah, he's fought names.
Yes. So if somebody babied him, maybe he's 22-3, but he hasn't been babied.
And a lot of times, Mike, there's some of these Mexico fighters. They are taking fights that they shouldn't be taking, but they need to take it because they need money.
Absolutely. Some guys make a good living if they don't get knocked out too much.
Yeah.
A good exchange by both guys right there. And Otar has him right there. I think he likes having Dominguez on the ropes right there because he's lacking a little bit of leverage on his shots.
I think Dominguez likes being on the ropes too. And he lands upstairs, does Dominguez.
Absolutely. He does some good work right there. And Pitbull looks over at his corner or his family, but he better pay attention.
He's looking at his corner. That's Tinor. You like that, Mike? When a guy looks at his corner?
No. You should be able to just hear your trainer's voice. You've heard it enough in the gym. Let your trainer be the one focusing and look at things. You got enough to worry about in the ring. Good body shot. Very good body shot by both guys. Left hooks to the body as they exchange them. Good short right hand. And Otar is very physically strong. He's very physically strong. And he uses his legs a lot. He's got strong legs. And the thing I like that he's doing is he's keeping his head offline. Like we talked about, he's not a big puncher, but he can definitely get your attention. He's landing some good combinations. They start to get a little bit more tied up than they were the first 2 rounds. Nice jab to close around. Good head movement, good defense, good ring generalship. And there's some action right there. Good jab. He set that right hand up with a jab. They get tied up. And you know what? Otar's not above using his head a little bit for some leverage and some placement. But I like how he keeps his gloves up. There's a good short right hand. You see Timur and Ricardo Wilson as Otar stands.
Scheduled for 10 rounds. Our 5th fight of the night here at DMG Night of Champions 5 at Thunder Studios in Long Beach, California. 4th round of action. Beto Duran, Mike Rodriguez, and Lindsey Payares. And Lindsey's going to the corner of Otar to see what they're saying over there. It could be very interesting because I'm pretty sure they like what they're seeing. But Mike, you're seeing a fighter in Dominguez who is tough and not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, so you have to have that extra gear. You're going to have to, you know, if you want to make a statement and you don't want to keep fighting, no, not knocking this fight. But if you want to really step up and back up your pedigree, you know, and the faith that people have in you, you're going to have an extra gear to really make people want to see you again.
Yeah, and DMG working with Pitbull, putting him on shows.
Yeah, so they obviously got faith in him, and they feel like he could do so. And I'm very impressed with what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
He's not doing anything wrong. We're just kind of forecasting, like, maybe down the road what his ceiling is.
Well, you were mentioning he's an older fighter. He's an older prospect, right?
Yes.
Turned pro later.
Yes, indeed. And I saw a fight here at Thunder Studios a few months ago that you and I called with Peter Kamikoff, a former
that's right, yeah.
a former Olympian that was getting a little bit up there in age, and he lost to David Stevens, one of Ronnie Shields' fighters out of Texas. So you just don't know when that clock is ticking, obviously, and you just don't know when it's not going to be your night, when that happens.
All right, what are they saying in the corner of Otar, Lindsey Payares?
In the corner of Otar, lots of good things happening. The trainers are liking the combos, the angles, the distance. You guys both talked about how he's moving a lot. They actually want him to be moving more, I'm thinking, to help tire out his opponent there.
That's good advice. You know, they want the activity. They obviously know what kind of condition he's in. You can look at his body and know that he's a very well-conditioned guy. His body has been probably in good condition since he was 13 years old.
Oh, big right hand from Otar. Drops him. Big shot from Otar. And Dominguez was stunned. He went down hard. And he's still wobbling, and the corner has stopped it. The corner of Emmanuel Dominguez has seen enough. They saw their fighter was wobbly. They jumped onto the canvas and said, no, we don't want to see anything else.
And I have no problem with a corner doing that. No problem whatsoever. And Beto, that was that next gear.
Yes, it was.
And based on what Lindsay said and the things that they wanted him to do, he went out and did it, and hats off to all of them. And hats off to Dominguez's corner. They knew what their charge is capable of doing. They've been down this road before, and there is absolutely no reason to take any unnecessary punishment. And a very, very, very impressive win for Otar Eranosyan. The pit bull was definitely barking tonight.
Yeah, the pit bull went at it. He had worked him, and then the big overhand right knocked him out. 2:32 of the round, and there it is. Connected flush, going down hard, Dominguez. One more time. Perfect shot landed. The 8th KO for Otar Eranosyan. Great job by the corner. Dominguez realizing the fighter wasn't going to react.
The DMG boxing ring, the blue corner informs referee Thomas Taylor their fighter can no longer continue, and he stops his contest with an official time of 2 minutes 32 seconds of round number 4, declaring the winner by way of knockout, still undefeated, and now NABF Super Featherweight Champion, the Pit Bull, Otar Eranosyan.
Lindsay will be interviewing Otar after you take the family pictures, of course. Got to get the pictures. So you got to get, you see now he has a regional belt, which helps him with the rankings. Laxon after a 4th round KO. That works. Everybody wants the picture. Tom, WBC. Here's the interview with Lindsay now.
Otar, you get it done in 4 rounds and you get to bring home the hardware. You remain undefeated. How are you feeling right now?
Hi everybody. Thank you for come out tonight. Support for me. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. It's my first belt, WBC. But I'm start with this. But future, I'm gonna do Super 4 champion. I promise you guys, I'm coming for this belt. I'm coming so long way. So that's my start. Future, I will be world champion. I promise you.
What did it mean to share this win with your family and see your son with that belt?
My family with me, they support me, thank you. I'm so happy, I'm so excited. I wanna say thank you first, God, for this victory. Thank you, my family. Thank you, my team. And thank you, my promoter. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job, Lindsay. Payares with Otar Eranosyan. It is a cool family affair. Win number 16 and his 8th KO.
You know, he came out with a purpose. He wanted to make a statement, and he did. He did it in front of his family. He did it in front of his promoter. Traveled a long way to get here. And I think he has set himself up for a lot better and bigger things. Dominguez was obviously very, very willing, but in the end, the class of Otar Eranosyan showed with that big, short, chopping right hand. And that was a big shot, and you could see that Dominguez's corner didn't want to see him take any further punishment. That was a big shot, and it's nice to see his family there. What's better than doing what you love, Beto, than with the ones you love most?
Absolutely, a great moment for him. He gets that NABF belt, which is a regional belt that helps you with the ranking.
Absolutely.